Welcome to Laptop Radio. Today's topic is the importance of food for families and the community. And we have Antonio Mendieta with us. He is the CEO of Comida for Familias Inc. Hello, Antonio. How are you?
Hi, Michelle. I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm good. I'm good. Sunny California.
Yes, it is.
It's actually raining outside.
It's
um,
cloudy over here.
so, Antonio, tell us your story. Where do you go to college? How do you found Comida for Familias?
Yes, I was born and raised in Calistoga, California,
Mhm.
in the Napa Valley, and I stayed there until I was 18, and then I decided to go over to Pennsylvania for college. I went to private liberal arts school, Albright, called Albright College,
Mhm.
and there I studied game design and simulation.
Mhm.
And then after that, I went through a period of being in transition.
Mhm.
And after that, I began work as customer tech support.
Mhm.
And from there, I wasn't doing a lot of coding, and I really wanted to be a software engineer. So I went to a hackathon,
Mhm.
and there I joined the team of entrepreneurs, and I met Rommel Fox,
Mhm.
and Rommel Fox became my mentor in order to help me start Comida Familias Incorporated.
Awesome. And what is the nonprofit organization?
Yeah, so the nonprofit organization supervises volunteers
Mhm.
in order to do activities for public benefit,
Mhm.
and the purpose is mainly to use technology efficiently in
Mhm.
order to best distribute food and resources.
I feel like in the Silicon Valley, there's a need for food because when you're in school, everything is really expensive in Silicon Valley. So you might not have money to buy food. And then also, as an entrepreneur, if you haven't fundraised and you don't really have a job, how do you actually sustain yourself? What do you eat? So
Mhm.
I feel like there's a need for food. And I think it's just something that people don't talk about. And so I wanted to really talk about hunger and the need for food. And it's awesome to hear that you're using technology to solve that challenge.
Mhm. Yeah, like I said, my background is in game design and simulation. So I did a lot of work and learning Python and Java.
Mhm.
And it's actually funny that you mentioned that, okay, especially during school, meal plans can be expensive.
Mhm.
And that's part of the reason why my last year being in college, I was off the meal plan and I was buying groceries for myself. But even sometimes I knew I wouldn't have groceries at home. So there was this pizza shop right next to my house. And sometimes they would be throwing out pizza. Sometimes I would watch them throw out the pizza after the night. So one day I decided to walk up to them and I asked them, hey, so instead of throwing out the pizza, do you think that you can give it to me instead?
Mhm.
And after that, oftentimes I would go after hours and I would ask them for the pizza. That's where the idea was sparked.
Yeah.
And I thought that if there was a way how to link them up, restaurants with students or with entrepreneurs or with just people that need food, then I think that would solve part of our hunger problem.
Awesome. I love that. When I was in law school and was also working for a tech company, there was a Safeway near my house that had, I think they give out food every Friday night or so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's super awesome. When you're a student, you notice different things like that, and it's just super weird. If you go to the grocery, they basically throw away so much food that people could definitely, for the people who are really hungry, they could definitely
Right.
use. I really love the idea. There's hunger campaigns, and I think when I was at PayPal, even there was XFAM came to talk to us at a seminar, and they did a little simulation
Hmm.
where we have to pretend that we're one of the three category. One of the categories is really wealthy people that has white table and wine, and then the other category is the middle class. And we would just have salad and a bowl, and we sit on a bench. And then you have the poor people who sit on the floor and they don't have much to eat. But I remember that I was part of the middle category, and I was really hungry. It was simulation, right? So they don't give you a lot of food. And
Right.
it's not like I can go there and have seconds. So even after the conference, I was super hungry.
Right.
So I can imagine. And I think Silicon Valley is known for everyone being really wealthy. Everyone just talk about stock options, VCs, and branded schools. And yet people forget that there are people among us who, for different reasons, do not have food to eat. And this is not only for the poor people, it's also for entrepreneur because they may not be funded and they're just building stuff and that's what their focus is on. How do we work with the community so that it does not become a shameful thing to actually grab food from an organization or from someone, or even tell your friend and say, hey, I'm hungry, can I come over for dinner? Yeah.
I think that definitely all begins with just communication, being able to openly and freely just, hey, so I'm running low on food, or I don't have anywhere to eat, I don't have money to eat. Do you mind sharing? So that's one way to begin. Of course, person can also, donors or people that have a sufficient amount of food, they can also be all like, hey, we made a little extra food yesterday and I feel guilty for throwing it away. Would you like to have some? Just the set, communicate. You're in college and your neighbor down the street, you know them, and you have, or I'm sorry, not down the street, down the dorm,
Yeah.
and say, hey, so yeah, we're having dinner and I think I made too much. Do you think you can come over
Yeah.
and eat some? Or
Yeah.
you're invited. So it all starts with communication.
Yeah.
And that's definitely what our organization plans to do, start a platform in order to have different sorts of communications.
Mm-hmm.
An application that we're actually working on is called Needy Delivery. We might actually rename it, but,
Yeah.
but the app, just so it doesn't encourage that shameful part like you're talking
Yeah.
about, like, I need something. But the idea is that people, restaurants, food banks, or just other individuals, they'll be able to deliver food to people that order it, and it would be for a reduced cost.
Mm-hmm.
Originally, we did just want to do it for restaurants and have restaurants send out prepared food.
Mm-hmm.
However, there is some restrictions, or not some restrictions, but there is some legal stuff that we would have to look into. There's a lot of details and data that we would have to collect. So for right now, we're focused on non-perishables.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Awesome. So a lot of canned foods and that
meals
don't
and things
perish.
like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Awesome. I don't really know a lot about food just because I've spent a lot of time doing other things, but I think it's awesome what you're doing. What kind of asks do you have? What kind of resources do you need? Because it sounds like you're a young organization, you're using technology to solve the food and hunger challenge,
Mhm.
and you're a public benefit organization. So, what kind of asks do you have? Do you need more engineers? Do you need to partner with more organizations? What is that? What kind of ask?
Yeah, so like you said, we are a young organization. We're actually in September we had our 1 year anniversary.
Awesome.
Yeah. And yeah, so we do ask for any sort of volunteers, actually. So whether you're a developer that's proficient at coding, or whether you're a lawyer that actually just wants to look into the legal situation and what we would have to do in order to not get sued or in trouble, or even if you like doing Instagram and you're really good at Instagram, you have a lot of followers, because being a young organization, we need to go out into the community and tell people what we're all about.
Mhm.
If you have time to volunteer, if anybody has the time to volunteer and really be part of our organization, and they have great project ideas, we would ask for them to join. And other things is, if you're a donor willing to donate or willing to be part of the solution, being able to contribute food, I also encourage them to submit a form. So that way we know that once we have the application built, we can reach out to you and notify you that, hey, so this is done. Would you like to participate?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. How many people do you think in Silicon Valley who does not have food to eat? Do you have a percentage in mind?
I do not. I don't have a percentage of how many people would have food. However, we did receive an invitation
Hmm.
from Facebook in order to see people that are affected by COVID-19.
Hmm.
So we think using that as a basis and
Hmm.
be seeing how many people are impacted from that, maybe we can provide for them as we're a year into the pandemic, aren't we?
Yes, we are. And it's pretty sad because I feel like there's a lot of people who don't have jobs
Mm-hmm.
and unemployment has gone up
Right.
and a lot of people don't have health care. And I think, didn't we just have one kind of some kind of stimulus check or something for some people? And
Yeah, I think
and that's it. And that's really not that much.
mm,
So I'm not sure what people are doing and how people are surviving. And it's sad, actually. I'm just hoping that the community could, in the meantime, do something to help each other. I
right.
guess that's what we have is we have each other. And if we can use technology to make it more efficient,
Mm-hmm.
that would be awesome. It remind me of making masks. So I think earlier this year, I was looking for masks to purchase and I can't find them anywhere. I cannot
Mm-hmm.
find them I went to Home Depot, I can't find them. They were all sold out. Target had nothing. It was later on that people began to sell masks.
Right.
So what I did was we basically just began making masks and just send them to people, send it to nurses and stuff like that. And that was really awesome. But I think if there's a platform to allow that to do that, because like we had to do research on who the nurses are and everything, because where do we send these things to? So I
Right.
think if there's a platform to actually match the food donors with the people who want food, I think that's awesome.
Mm-hmm. So that's definitely something that we're looking forward to accomplishing with this organization.
Awesome. What kind of technology are you using to build this?
Yeah, so we usually go with what the volunteers are proficient in,
Hmm.
what they're expert as.
Hmm.
So it could take the form of websites,
Hmm.
building things in React, Angular, even Vue,
Hmm.
or it could also take the form of building applications like React Native, iOS, Java,
Hmm.
Android applications.
Hmm.
So things like that's the technology that we're focused on connecting people with.
Awesome. What is your plans for the future in terms of food to the extent that they become legal?
Yeah, so the plan for the future is definitely to get away from the canned food. We'll still be supporting that, but it'll be more community driven.
Yeah.
So as to where neighbors being able to share food with each other and being very open about being able to accept other people and share food. We want to build the community.
Hmm.
And yeah, I guess I think you can say that I am very optimistic
Awesome.
towards
Awesome.
humanity. Yeah.
That's really cool. I've been reading a lot about technology and how, like 3D printing and how we can print food
Mhm.
and how we could may also create food artificially.
Okay.
But I don't know if the quality is the same as more natural food.
Mhm.
So it'll be interesting. And I'm also really into vertical farming and the ability to actually grow lots of food to feed more people, I think it's very important.
Mhm.
Even in the US, as food becomes more and more expensive
Yeah.
for certain people. Are you working outside of the US as well to look at food and hunger in that kind of way?
Yeah, I don't think we're at the stage that we have looked outside of the US yet. However, I do want to say that we do have other volunteers in other countries that actually want to work towards this goal. So we're definitely open to expanding when we have more resources. For example, we do have volunteer over in Germany and Mexico. So
Oh, really? Awesome.
yeah. And I also think the aspect or the concept of vertical farming and food printing,
Mhm,
once we become more stable,
mhm.
that might be something that we look more into too.
Awesome, awesome. Is there anything else that you want to share that I have not asked you?
We are located in San Jose, so we're actually really close to the Silicon Valley, and we do have a facility here that we clean every day in order to have coding sessions.
Awesome,
So if anybody wants to either come over or even have a coding session with us, you're more than welcome to join.
awesome. What is one piece of advice that you have for the community?
One piece of advice I would give to the community is that don't be afraid to go after your goals,
Mhm.
know your worth, and believe in yourself.
Awesome. Thank you, Antonio.
Thank you, Michelle.
Bye bye.
Bye.